Hello, friends. Have you ever wondered what is hidden behind the fog, in the forests, at the bottom of the oceans, or even in the night sky? Are those mythical creatures that ancient legends tell us about real? In this video, we will reveal 18 terrifying creatures that have allegedly been seen in real life. Get ready. What you are about to hear will change your perception of what is possible. This episode is like a window into a parallel world where ancient tales and modern reality intertwine. Who knows, maybe you will meet them in your life. I assure you, watch to the end, because the most amazing examples are waiting for you ahead. Chupacabra, the mysterious vampire of Latin America. Chupacabra is one of the most famous mythical creatures. The name translates as goat vampire, which perfectly describes its sinister essence. The chupacabra was first talked about in 1995 in Puerto Rico, when farmers found their animals dead, with mysterious round wounds on their necks as if their blood had been sucked out. The description of the chupacabra is frightening. This creature has spikes on its back, huge red eyes and skin resembling a reptile. Locals claim to have seen the chupacabra hunting at night, moving quickly and hiding in the shadows. And in the 2000s, evidence began to appear in Texas and Mexico, supported by strange remains of animals that no one could identify. Some scientists explain the chupacabra phenomenon by animal diseases, but eyewitnesses insist this creature is real. In 2018, a case was recorded in a Mexican village where mysterious sounds were heard from the jungle, and then one of the farmers filmed a strange figure that disappeared into the darkness. Yowie, Australian forest giant. Yowie is a mythical creature that is described as a distant relative of the Yeti and Bigfoot. Since ancient times, Australian Aborigines have told stories about strange giants living in dense forests. They are considered guardians of nature, who can show aggression if a person invades their territory. Witnesses describe Yowie as a tall, up to 3 meters, human-like creature with thick fur. Interestingly, over the past decades, Australian tourists and researchers have repeatedly found huge footprints that could not belong to a person or a known animal. In 2020, one traveler filmed a video where a huge figure flashed among the dense thickets. Researchers have long argued about the authenticity of the recording because the outlines of the figure really resembled Yowie. Locals say, if you hear a strange rumble in the forest, it is better not to move and try not to attract attention. Trolls, giants from Scandinavian legends. In the cold mountains of Scandinavia, myths about trolls have lived on for centuries. The Vikings believed that trolls were ancient spirits of nature who guarded the mountains and forests. They are described as giant creatures with stone-colored skin, long noses, and powerful arms. But what if these legends are more than just fairy tales? In 2017, a group of tourists reported hearing strange sounds in one of Norway's national parks, like a low rumble that echoed across the mountains. Some claim to have seen huge shadows at sunset that resemble troll figures. In addition, unusual stone shapes are sometimes found in Scandinavian forests, which, according to legend, are trolls turned to stone by sunlight. And although scientists explain these stones by natural processes, many still believe that these are the remains of ancient creatures who froze to wait out the coming of a new age. Mermaids, mysterious creatures of the sea depths. Mermaids are one of the most romantic and at the same time frightening mythical creatures. They were first mentioned in ancient myths, but stories about encounters with mermaids continue to this day. In 2009, in Israel, several residents of the city of Kiryat Yam claimed to have seen a strange figure on the rocks by the sea. They described it as a creature with a woman's head and a fishtail. These stories attracted the attention of journalists and scientists, and soon one of the locals shot a video where, against the backdrop of the setting sun, you can see something resembling a mermaid sitting on a rock, and then she dives into the water. Many believe that mermaids are a product of our imagination or just a play of light on the water. However, sailors from different eras told of encounters with them. Some claim to have seen mermaids in the stormy seas, guiding them to safe harbor, while others speak of mermaids as tricksters who lure ships onto rocks. Is this an ancient myth, or a phenomenon we don't yet understand? The ocean world holds too many secrets for us to rule out the existence of these mysterious creatures. Mothman, the mysterious Mothman. Mothman is one of the most mysterious and frightening creatures in American mythology. It is described as a humanoid creature with giant wings, glowing red eyes, and the ability to fly at incredible speeds. The first sighting of Mothman was recorded in 1966 in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. That year, several local residents reported seeing a strange creature following their car on the highway. They said that it was flying parallel to the car at high speed, making frightening sounds. This incident became the beginning of a series of sightings. Dozens of people claimed to have seen Mothman, especially near an old bridge that collapsed shortly after these events. Since then, Mothman has become a symbol of mysterious warnings. Some believe that its appearance is associated with disasters. For example, in 2009 in Mexico, eyewitnesses claimed to have seen a creature similar to Mothman several days before a devastating earthquake. Mystical believers believe that the Mothman is a harbinger of disaster, while skeptics explain the phenomenon as mass hysteria or confusion with large birds such as owls or herons. However, the many photographs, recordings, and testimonies make this story incredibly mysterious. Dragons, legendary rulers of the skies. Dragons have always held a special place in the myths and legends of different cultures. They symbolize strength, power, and destruction. Chinese dragons, European fire-breathing giants, and Indian nagas, all these creatures impress with their scale and mystery. But what if dragons really existed? In 2017, footage emerged in China showing a strange creature flying over a mountain range. Its shape resembled a classic Chinese dragon with a long body, curved movements, and a soaring, smooth flight. Some scientists believe that the myth of dragons could have been inspired by real reptiles, such as large lizards or dinosaurs, whose remains were found in ancient times. However, supporters of mysticism believe that dragons could have been real creatures that either died out or existed in places inaccessible to humans. Interesting fact: dragon legends unite different cultures that never met in ancient times. Could this be a coincidence? Or is it evidence of an ancient creature that inspired these myths? Kappa, a water demon from Japanese legends. Kappa is a mythical creature from Japanese folklore that looks like a mixture of a human, a turtle, and a frog. Its peculiarity is a small depression on its head filled with water, which, according to legends, gives it strength. Japanese legends say that kappas live in rivers and lakes, sometimes deceive people, and even attack those who disturb their peace. However, they are not always hostile. It is believed that if you bow to a kappa, it will do the same in return, spilling water from its head and losing strength. In 1984, in one of the Japanese villages, a group of children said that they saw a strange creature by the river. The adults did not believe it at first, but soon they found prints on the shore that could not belong to known animals. These finds caused quite a stir, and even researchers came to the region, but the kappa was never found. Some people think that the kappa is just a myth created to keep children away from dangerous bodies of water. However, for centuries, the Japanese continue to tell stories of encounters with this strange creature. Loch Ness Monster, Scotland's mystery. The Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie, is one of the most famous and talked about mythical creatures in the world. Its story began in 1933, when a Scottish family claimed to have seen a strange creature in Loch Ness. The creature was described as a long-necked beast with a massive body reminiscent of a dinosaur. The first sighting was followed by hundreds of reports from tourists, fishermen, and locals. In 1934, the famous photograph of Nessie was published, showing a silhouette with a long neck sticking out of the water. Although it was later revealed to be a fake, interest in the Loch Ness Monster has not faded. Modern technology has made it possible to conduct studies of the lake using echo sounders and underwater cameras. In 2019, scientists recorded strange movements in the depths of Loch Ness that could not be explained. Some suggest that it could be a giant fish or an unknown species of animal. The Nessie myth remains one of the greatest mysteries of our time. Despite the lack of evidence, millions of people continue to believe that something amazing and mysterious is hidden in the depths of Loch Ness. Kikimora, creepy spirits from Slavic mythology. Kikimora is one of the most famous characters in Slavic folklore. Her image is both frightening and fascinating. Kikimora is described as a small creature with a thin, twisted body, long, bony fingers, and an eerie whisper that can be heard in the dark corners of the house. Kikimora was believed to live in old houses, especially abandoned or poorly maintained ones. She could hide in dark corners, under the floor, or behind the stove. Her presence was usually accompanied by strange sounds, creaking floorboards, knocking or clanking dishes. One of the real stories is related to a village in Russia, where in the 1980s a family complained of unexplained sounds and movements in the house. People claimed that at night they saw a small shadow that ran across the room and disappeared. When they tried to rebuild the house, workers found an old doll wrapped in cloth under the floor. Locals were sure that it was a talisman left to protect against the Kikimora, but perhaps it was the Kikimora that attracted her. Legends say that the Kikimora can become both a curse and a protector of the house if she is appeased. She seems to symbolize the fragile balance between good and evil, reminding people of the importance of respecting their home and traditions. Jersey Devil, American swamp monster. The legend of the Jersey Devil, a creature from the state of New Jersey, has captured the imagination for over 300 years. It is described as a hybrid of several animals. It has long wings reminiscent of a bat, the head of a horse, a long tail, and hooves. The story of the Jersey Devil began in the 18th century when a local woman known as Mother Leeds gave birth to her 13th child. According to legend, she cursed this child, and he turned into a monster that escaped into the wild swamps and has been terrifying locals ever since. In 1909, a real panic occurred when hundreds of people claimed to have seen the Jersey Devil over the course of a week. Its tracks were found on rooftops, in the snow, and farmers reported the death of livestock. Newspapers published these stories, fueling fear and public interest. Despite the skepticism of scientists, some modern eyewitnesses claim to have seen this creature in the Pine Barrens forests. In 2015, a case was recorded when a driver on the highway filmed a strange winged creature flying over the road. The video caused a lot of controversy, but no clear explanation was found. Leshy, the spirit of the forest from Russian legends. Leshy is one of the most famous spirits of nature in Russian mythology. This is a creature that, according to legends, protects the forests and all their inhabitants. Leshy can change its appearance. It can be as tall as a tree or as small as a bush. Its skin resembles tree bark, and its eyes glow like drops of dew in the sun. It was believed that the Leshy liked to lead people astray, forcing them to wander in the forest for hours, sometimes even days. Some said that the Leshy laughs, watching lost travelers, and only those who respect nature can find their way back. One hunter from Siberia in the 1990s said that in the depths of the taiga, he met a strange man dressed in leaves and branches. When the hunter tried to talk to him, the creature disappeared, as if dissolved in thin air. Legends about Leshy remind us of the importance of respecting nature. People who believed in his existence believed that the goblin takes revenge on those who destroy forests or kill animals without reason. Nagas, the snake-like deities of India. Nagas are half-human, half-snake creatures from Indian mythology. They are considered guardians of water and land, powerful beings who can bring both blessings and destruction. Legends say that they live in underground palaces or in bodies of water, where they guard untold riches. One of the most famous references to Nagas is associated with temples in South India, where statues of these creatures adorn ancient sanctuaries. But there is also modern evidence that makes you wonder, what if Nagas really exist? In 2012, in the Indian state of Rajasthan, a group of researchers discovered huge, writhing footprints in the sand that could not be explained. Locals claimed that these were the footprints of a Naga who comes out at night to guard the sacred waters of a nearby lake. In addition, some fishermen reported seeing long snake-like bodies with human heads in the rivers, which disappeared in the blink of an eye as soon as they were spotted. The legends of the Nagas remain alive, reminding us of the richness of Indian mythology and its close connection with nature. African myths tell of the Mokele Mbembe, a dinosaur-like creature that supposedly lives in the Congo River. Locals claim to have seen the silhouette of a giant creature in the water. The legend of the Banshee from Ireland foretells misfortune. One man said he heard a strange cry in the fields and then saw a mysterious figure disappear into the night. And what about the gargoyle? This is a stone creature that comes to life at night. In 2004, strange videos were recorded in Europe where gargoyle-like figures were moving on the roofs of buildings. And finally, the Yeti, or Bigfoot. For decades, climbers have claimed to have seen its tracks. One explorer even brought back a piece of fur, which experts say belongs to an unknown animal. In America, there is a legend about the skunk monster, a humanoid creature with thick fur that exudes an unbearable smell. In 2019, a tourist filmed a strange video of a huge hairy creature flashing in the forest, and a pungent odor was felt nearby that could not be explained. In the Caribbean, the spirit of Dupi is often mentioned, which is believed to wander at night in search of victims. Locals tell stories of strange lights and rustling sounds in the dark corners of their villages that disappear at dawn. Fireballs in the sky in Thailand are known as Nagas, snake spirits that throw out flames. In 2020, tourists filmed a video of strange glowing objects rising from the Mekong River. Is this proof of the existence of the legendary Nagas? In the United States, a mythical creature lives among the swamps of Louisiana, Rougarou, or swamp werewolf. Local farmers claim that sometimes at night they hear an eerie howl, reminiscent of a mixture of a human scream and an animal roar. In Peru, there is a legend about Pisache, spirits that live in the mountains. In 2005, climbers reported strange sounds, as if someone was watching them at a great height, where even humans can rarely survive. Chinese legends tell of the Hundun, a faceless creature that appears only in the fog. One photographer captured a strange figure in thick fog in 2018, and to this day, no one can explain what it was. Ireland has many myths about spirits, but one of the creepiest is the Darkma. Hunters reported seeing glowing eyes in the dark, and when they got closer, the figure would disappear into thin air. The Middle East is home to legends of jinns, powerful spirits that can change shape. In 2015, a video was filmed in the desert where a strange moving shadow was visible on the horizon, disappearing after a few seconds. Slavic mythology is also rich in creatures, and one of the creepiest characters is Vi. People report seeing a huge shadow at night with eyes that glow in the dark. In Ecuador, locals believe in H, invisible spirits of the jungle. Researchers who have explored the Amazon forests have reported feeling as if they were being watched and then finding strange marks on the ground. In Polynesia, myths tell of the spirit Tau Tapu. One diver claimed to have seen a strange glowing figure resembling a man at depth and felt an incomprehensible fear before the creature dissolved into the dark water. In the south of Russia, in the Caucasus Mountains, there are stories of mountain spirits, the Elbrus giants. One tourist claimed to have seen figures on the slope that could not possibly be people because of their enormous height. In the Arctic, Eskimo legends tell of the Kais, ghostly hunters. Polar explorers reported seeing fast shadows in the frosty darkness that moved against the wind. In Afghanistan, there is a myth about the Peshtawa, a ghost that lives in mountain caves. One soldier said that during a patrol, he saw a figure in the dark that disappeared as soon as he approached it. In Iceland, stories about hidden people, Huldufolk, are popular. One day, workers building a road noticed strange silhouettes standing on stones, and then inexplicable equipment breakdowns began to occur. In Brazil, they talk about Caipora, a jungle spirit that protects the forest. Tourists once found strange paths and tracks leading to nowhere, and then heard rustling sounds as if someone was whispering in the wind. Finally, in Italy, there is a legend about Monsifo, a mountain demon. In 2019, climbers noticed a strange reddish glow in the mountains, similar to fire, which could not be caused by a human hand. These creatures, whether real or imaginary, remind us of how little we know about the world around us. Our ancestors created these legends for a reason, and who knows how many secrets are hidden in the darkness. Friends, our video has come to an end. If you liked it, be sure to support us with a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Write which legend impressed you the most. And remember, if we collect 5,000 likes, I will tell you about the most mysterious lessons that life has taught me.